Okay, now we got all these one-shots. There's actually 5 of them, plus one other comic I'm going to show you at the end. But let's start with the Commissioner Gordon Commissioner one-shot. Gordon, as tough as he seems, has actually been a really weak character. I mean, he must be, because he's always calling on Batman to bail him out. Well, that's the whole point of this story, where he gets captured by Mr. Freeze, and since there's no Batman to bail him out, he has to save himself. It's a pretty standard comic book story with some action and suspense and all that. It's a pretty good narrative, but it doesn't really offer us anything new about Commissioner Gordon. It was nice to see Tom Mandrake's art again. It's been a long time since I've seen something by him. Anyway, it's a good story, even if it's a bit arbitrary and gimmicky. I give this a B. Alright, next up we just got Arkham Asylum, this one-shot, which actually, of all the one-shots, I actually like this one the best. You know, it's funny, whenever there's a Batman story set in or around Arkham Asylum, the writers usually use it as a license to go nuts and just do really arbitrary surrealism. But this one-shot was surprisingly straightforward. It's a first-person narrative of Gerald or Jerome Arkham, I forgot his name, the nephew of the original Dr. Arkham that started the asylum. It's a story of him working intimately with 3 non-criminal patients there. It ties in with the Battle of the Cowl because in the main series, the Black Mask storms the facility, kidnaps all the prisoners, and then blows up the building. The book ends with Dr. Arkham saying he wants to rebuild the place as an actual asylum and not a place for the criminally insane or whatever. Plus, there's a very creepy ending that I know is going to come back later in the regular Batman series. That's all I'm going to say about it. Overall, really good read, and probably the best of all these one-shots. I give this a B+. Okay, now we got the Man-Bat one-shot. Of all the miniseries and one-shots in this entire Battle for the Cowl, this Man-Bat book seems the most out of place. I haven't seen Man-Bat appear in any of the Batman comics or the extended family of Batman comics in a long time. This story seems to pick up where another one left off. Well, maybe it's from Final Crisis, I don't know. But what this story is, I couldn't tell you. Much like the Oracle miniseries is a bit hard to follow since we're just thrown right into the middle of the story head first. The story itself is really fast-paced with Kirk Langstrom, that's Man-Bat, battling Dr. Phosphorus. Why they're fighting, and how they got into that situation, I couldn't really tell you. This book doesn't really tell us. And then the Outsiders show up, and it seems like Man-Bat is going to team up with them, I guess. What's weird is I've also been reading the Outsiders comic, and they never mention this Man-Bat crossover. I suppose it's going to come up later on in the Outsiders, the regular Batman comics, but regardless, this comic itself was readable but disposable, so I give this a C. Okay, now we got The Underground. This book is basically just Battle for the Cowl number 2.5. It follows the same basic story as the Battle for the Cowl miniseries with the whole Gotham turf war between Two-Face and the Penguin and the Black Mask, but it's told from the perspective of the Riddler, who Penguin hires to find out what's going on, and there's also Catwoman, who's going around messing with the bad guys. She's also trying to find out what's going on. There's a lot of action in this story and some detective work, but it's actually rather short, so it never really gets a chance to go anywhere. They should have just incorporated this into the regular Batman Battle for the Cowl miniseries. So putting it in a separate one-shot seems a little gimmicky to me. But then again, all of these books are gimmicks, so I can't really criticize it for that. It's a pretty good read for what it is, so I can't really complain about it, so I give this a B-. Okay, the last one-shot we got is The Network, which is just another, superhero team book. Something that's been bugging me about all these comics that they come on the heels of other comics, and that's probably true of this book. It seems to be the remnants of a story from Birds of Prey or Final Crisis or The Outsiders. Basically, it's a Batman family team-up book with a whole bunch of superheroes coming and going. If you saw last summer's Dark Knight movie, you'll probably find this story very familiar. It's trying to have some kind of real moral dilemma, while at the same time being a breezy, self-contained tights and fights story. And actually, it works, surprisingly. It's a self-contained story, but like a lot of the books in this series, it's trite and predictable. Totally adequate story, but a lot like The Underground, it reads just like another Battle for the Cowl comic, so I don't know. I give this a C+. Okay, finally we have the Secret Six #9. And it is obviously isn't part of the regular Batman family of books, but it does have that Battle for the Cowl logo on there, so just wanted to talk about it really quick. I'm not sure why DC decided to slap this logo on the cover. I've never read this series, so I'm not all that familiar with it, but from what I can tell, it's like an anti-hero team of Catman, Bane, and some other Joker-like character. This story apparently takes place in Gotham City while all hell is breaking loose, and these guys are mercenaries, I guess. Then Nightwing shows up at the end and basically stares them down like a bad Western movie. The story itself was okay, but it really has next to nothing to do with the Battle for the Cowl in general, so if you missed this comic, you really didn't miss much. Give this a C+. Alright, that does it for Paragon Comics' recap and review of the Battle for the Cowl series. Overall, I thought it was, pretty good, pretty, a little bit above average. Some books were good, some weren't. None of them were terrible, actually. The Batman R.I.P. was the worst of them. So, and it was actually rather interesting to see them take this kind of approach with all these miniseries and one-shots. So, you gotta give them props for being unique and original. Definitely looking forward to seeing where all these new Batman comics are going, but I want my Bruce Wayne back. Can we just get back to status quo here? Nobody else can be Batman except him. So, hopefully we'll get back to normal soon. So, thanks for watching, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.